Sunday, September 26th, 7:28 a.m. So, this is a recording about the results of a deep think, meditation this morning. It's a culmination of turning over and over the idea and the knowledge of where currency in America comes from, or in, I believe, most capitalist countries, countries that practice capitalism. Currency is created by debt. Our currency is not money, paper money that is backed by something of value. When any bank in America writes a loan, or somebody wants new money, they create money. They print new money every time a loan is created and taken out. In this scenario, the simple way of looking at it is that if the loan was called, in other words, if there was a demand to be paid, there would not be enough currency in existence under this system to pay back the loan because of the interest. When they print the money for the loan, they do not print the money for the interest. The interest comes out of your money, or the money that you have. Let's put it that way. So at the end of the day, if all loans were called in, there would not be enough printed money or created money as far as the American currency is concerned. There would not be enough American currency in existence to cover the interest. All loans would take all the money, and then everybody would be owing the interest, if such a scenario was able to happen. That's the pure math and facts as they are. I'm going to blend this idea with two other concepts. The other concept I want to talk about is taxes. And the third concept is the power of computing, or how powerful computers are and how much they change the situation of this capitalist society, of our society, and more to the point, our jobs. I say our jobs in the sense that anybody's job that could, in theory, be where they could be replaced by a computer, such as simple clerical, anything that could be input A, input B, output C scenario ad nauseum. Even feeding that machine with a computer. As we can see now, vehicles can drive themselves. They can navigate around us and not hit any of us, and probably theoretically be safer than any of us, putting the Isaac Asimov's 3 rules of robotics into effect. Now, the reality is that in a capitalist society, there's an axiom that says that you should not act like you're irreplaceable. That's a bad attitude as an employee. But again, if we take that concept ad nauseum, you could say the same thing for the business owner. Because in a capitalist society, if you do not run your business as well as some other business owner, you will also fall prey. Now, what am I getting at, and why have I brought up all three of these things? In this scenario, I would say that the banking function, the fact that people are being paid to charge interest, is not a end of the day, just system. What I am seeing is that there is a relationship where one problem can solve the other. If the government was to set a interest rate on all money loaned, that interest could become the national tax amount. And then in a relationship, it would also solve the equity in who pays what tax rate. If anybody wants new money and a loan is granted, everyone pays the same interest rate, and it reflects what the government needs to function, to service the loan and to service the country, in the sense that the government is not a person, it is not a thing, it is an idea that is governed by laws. People hold office and people work for the government and provide functions. Many of these functions, unless I would say your job includes using some kind of creativity, something that computers are not tasking as easily, although they will. That's my personal opinion. I think we already can see relationship with this, just with computer graphics. Computers can be set at creative tasks. That being said, we could remove bankers from the equation. They are not needed by our society, and the situation could still if someone was to make money and want to loan it at a set rate, they could do so. But this inside agreement that most people don't really truly understand, from what I see in my opinion, there's not much understanding out there that the banks have this kind of relationship where the government actually doesn't print the money, but they allow private industry to print the money and charge whatever interest rate. Yet it reflects the national currency, and it is held as national currency. Yet the government doesn't seem to be truly involved. By removing the for-profit banking industry that really has not served, I think most people's opinion would say that it really hasn't served us that well. It's a clerical situation. There is no other toil other than the toil of sitting down and keeping ledgers and books. We do not need the creative bankers to be involved with the money supply. That's my opinion. I don't believe if that was up to a vote, people would vote for that. As a voter, would you vote for the system we have now? Or would you vote that when you go get a loan, that takes care of your tax liability? And we have a nation that, if anybody, I would assert that the amount of money that banks make worldwide is enough to run any country, spread out. So that's the idea in a nutshell. That's my first go at a recording an hour after I came up with the idea. So I'm sure there'll be more evolution. That's the idea. Okay, I'm going to call this part B. I brought up in the first part A, if you will, the concept of being able to be replaced and the power of computing. I need to make a prediction at this point, and I believe it's a prediction that's based in fact and in historical analog, basically. Even though it's a new situation and it's a new day and it's a new type of issue or concern to be concerned with, and that is of computing, but in replacement of manpower, just like I'm sure at one point, and historical books will reflect this, that there was a lot of people very upset in the Industrial Revolution that what machines were doing to the future, that assembly lines would destroy humanity, or take jobs, any kind of automated process. And of course now that's a foregone conclusion, and for the most part society at large doesn't think twice about automating something. The thing is that this concept will only get more powerful and be easier to use. And so replacing jobs is the future. And in the plainest way to say it, just if we stay in a capitalist system, it will be nothing but a bad situation to be in if automation increases and computer power increases. And the reason is because there will not be enough jobs. There is the most empowered part of society is involved with trying to make less jobs by automation, whether it be computers or machines. And they are rewarded greatly for doing so. We, as a society at large, give single owners of companies great amount of our wealth so that they can replace jobs with computers and machines. And there seems to be not much day-to-day understanding of this, in the sense that we seem to look the other way. We seem to put this problem off and not deal with it. Although I think that most people in their bones, if I will, or in their intuition, can see that there's an issue there. And it's generally met with exhaustion. I think a lot of the exhaustion comes from our day-to-day, our typical day, and how we conduct ourselves in a day-to-day. It was said historically once that entertainment, is the opiate of the masses. I think there might be some truth to that, at least poetically. Harsh poetry, that is. That being said, when it comes to computers doing jobs, when it comes to business owners going to market, it's not emotional for the most part, unless they are in the business of using emotion as a buying and selling tool, which it is been used to make great amounts of money to play on the emotions of people. Whether it be, well, I don't need to explain that. People understand what that means. automation is rewarded. Society rewards a very few people, business owners. A very small section of the society is given most of the wealth to replace all the rest of our jobs. That is the facts. And does anyone think that that will decrease? Do you imagine that sometime in the future, or tomorrow, or the next day, that there will be more jobs and less computers? Does anyone actually think that's going to happen? Do you think that your currency will be worth more tomorrow or less? Do you think that any of this will change unless we actually change it? Do you feel our system of government will get fixed the way we have been trying to fix it since 1776? It's got us here. That's wonderful. Is that the last system that we will ever use in humanity? Do you think that 1,000 years from now that we will have these same issues? Do you think we will still be capitalist? Do you think we will still be using the resources of people who will come well later, thousands of years from now? Do you think they will remember us fondly for what we've done to the earth, or how we have taken care of the earth for them? Are you happy that we tested nuclear weapons in the 40s? I don't think anybody's happy about that. I don't think everybody's going to remember that generation fondly for that. I'm not saying that somebody won't have an understanding of what was going on in relationship to their time, but will we be remembered well? Because there's a saying, to be forewarned. The knowledge of something that's coming. Do we do something about it or do we not?